Hey, Edgewater Alliance Church, Dave Lane here. And it's my opportunity to connect with you during the week and check in on how you're doing. We've introduced this concept of buckets and the need to keep our spiritual, physical, and emotional bucket full, and the dangers of when they're empty. And I want to talk about the struggle of anxiety. And I want to give you a quick tip on how to identify when you might be operating from a place of anxiety. Anxiety can come from multiple sources. It can be an internal source, like, for example, feeling the need to please strangers or everyone. And you think you have this need when actually it is not a need. It's just something you think you need. And when you realize you're not pleasing them, it can move you into a place of anxiety. Another internal source of anxiety might be if you're a type A person and you're very driven and you find that you just can't stop producing. You can't rest. You can't stop. Sometimes when a type A person is feeling anxiety, they overproduce, not for production's sake, but as an outflow of their anxiety. Another example of an internal source of anxiety might be a performance-driven person. And so a person might have a need to be acknowledged for doing a great job. And that's not actually a deep-seated need. You just think that it is a need, and when it's not met, it produces anxiety. There's also external sources of anxiety. Boy, we know all about that these days, right? They're acute. They're actual events that are causing anxiety. Can be chemical reasons for anxiety, and the list can go on and on, so I don't want to oversimplify, but I do want you to see that these spiritual, physical, and emotional buckets are interconnected and can affect deeply one another. And when you are in a state of anxiety emotionally, I want you to see 3 ways you can identify it may very well show up physically. My source for this is Steve Cuss, who is a counselor and a pastor of a church in Colorado, and has the proper credentials, and did a phenomenal job as a guest on Carrie Nieuwhof's podcast. And so Steve identifies that there are 3 physical symptoms that are tools for you to recognize, I am moving in a place of anxiety. And I want to run through those for you. Here are the 3. One is a spinning mind. You're anxious about something and you keep replaying the scenario over and over in your head. You obsess with your thoughts. The thoughts come at you fast and furiously and you can't process them all. You find yourself very distracted because your mind's just spinning. And this may very well be an indicator that you are moving into a place of anxiety. Second physical way is a racing heart. Your body begins to move into fight or flight mode. And so even though you're not physically exerting yourself, your heart is racing, your body is amping up. You find yourself charged, amped. It may very well be an indicator you're moving in a direction of anxiety. The third is a tightening body, that you just feel tense and you find this need to clench, and you just desperate for like a massage. And this may very well be your body telling you on your emotional level you are moving into anxiety. Spinning mind, racing heart, tightening body. These are symptoms. And when you notice them, when you identify them, you halt, you stop, and you assess, hey, what's the root source of this anxiety? Is it some internal lie that I'm believing? Is it an external factor? Maybe it's chemical, and there's limits to what you can do to address it. Maybe it's not always, but maybe its source is spiritual. You're under the false impression that you are in control, and you're forgetting that he's the only one in control. But what I want to encourage you to do is, when you find that there's friction or tension, kind of take a self-assessment. Is my mind spinning? Is my heart racing? Is my body tightening? Am I moving in the direction of anxiety? And what am I going to do about it? More on this Sunday as we deal with hope for the stressed from 1 Peter chapter 5. God bless you, Edgewater Alliance. We miss you. We love you. And best of all, he loves you. God bless you.